Yeah, it was it was a tough game. They're a team that goes downhill. Don't shoot the ball great, but they, number 12 shot the heck out of it today. But just a hard team to keep in front, hard team to not foul. And we were, I think it was one point we had 20 team fouls. They had 10, and that's not the referees. That's just our inability to keep them in front. But I thought, we made our mistakes, but I thought we handled their runs. We answered them. Daniel was terrific. Hit that big shot. I know he practices that one every day. But that's a big one. That was the backbreaker. As I told the team, it's you make your luck. And Daniel's been hurt. And he's fought his way back, and he deserved to make that shot. But he made some big threes prior to that. And, Frank played, especially in the second half, played really well with 17 and 12. I thought he did a great job on the backboard. But in the end, we handled adversity, and we won, which is the bottom line. And we gotta continue to get better in all phases. But coming back within 48 hours after losing a tough game to Carolina, I thought our guys did a good job of responding.
Daniel had 17 points tonight, 5 or 6 from beyond the 3-point line. What were you seeing out there, and how are you feeling?
I feel good. I've been dealing with a lot with my ankle, and just trying to stay with it with the team, be as engaged as possible in practice, like do what I can throughout, and I just trust my work. And out there tonight, I just try to play the right way each and every night. First half, I tried to get in the paint, get downhill, kick out for some open shots for my teammates. But I just try to make the right play each and every possession.
You had a tournament to remember here. You played great defense against Caleb Wilson against North Carolina, 8 points against them. Again, 17 points tonight. How are you finding yourself growing into this system and continuing to get better each day?
The system, it's pretty simple. I've played for coaches in the past that, rely on making reads throughout the offense. So, I'm kind of adjusted to it. I feel like I have a pretty decent IQ for the game. I just have a good feel. So, I feel like if you put me out there with anybody, I can find a way, and have a positive impact on the game.
Frank, it's another physical battle for you down low today. What did you take away from this game?
Like I said last game, it's 2 bigs playing basketball, you know what I mean? Credit goes to them. He's a great big. I played with him. It's my second time matching up with him. I played with him when he was against Siena, so it's a good time seeing 2 MAC players, elevate and level up. So it was a great game, bro. These guys came out and wanted to win, and we wanted to win. So it's just at the end of the day, credit goes to him. We worked hard, we battled, and glory came to us.
Coach, you mentioned the fouls and kind of put the team in a bind, and sometimes it felt like there were stretches where you made a couple baskets, you got momentum, and then there'd be either a foul or a basket going the other way. How did you make your team's response to those?
Yeah, it's basketball. We fouled a jump shooter 3 times, which is a no-no. It's something that our guys know. We got to get better at that. But we responded. They responded. I think we got up by 6 or 8, and the next thing I know, I look at it. It's down to 1. Then they took the lead. I thought our guys dealt with adversity, and ebbs and flows to every game. And I thought we did a decent job of sustaining our consistency. It was a tough game. You play Carolina 2 days ago in a packed house, right? And then you come in now it's a quarter full, So and that's both teams. It's an adjustment. I know. East Carolina played Michigan State, and there wasn't an empty seat in the house. So and then it's noontime. There's a lot of negativity that goes along with playing at a noontime game. But I thought our guys, we didn't play perfect. We have so much more room to improve. But I thought we had guys, coming off the bench. I thought Ilya did okay. I thought Achille made a basket. Those guys, we got in foul trouble, and Buddy shoots 1 for 10, and if Buddy shoots 1 for 10, for the most part, it's going to be a long night. But I thought, with Daniel responding and Frank responding in the second half, we had other guys that came up and that made some plays, and not just offensively, but defensively. I thought it was a team effort, and like I said, we hit our numbers defensively. We kept them under 60 points. We had a hard time with Riley. He's a terrific player, especially when he's making jump shots. But we were able to overcome that.
You mentioned Daniel and the bench. He was in that first game against Bradley. It seemed like he was struggling. He went on and off from the bench. Obviously picked up that injury. He's come all the way back. He's had a great tournament. What have you made of his?
Yeah, he's been banged up, all preseason, not just his ankle. He's had other issues. But he's as he alluded to, he's a smart player. He's been well coached. He has a high IQ for the game. He's always, not always, but most of the time in the right spots. And he's been working hard. He hasn't had a lot of reps. He's still unsure of, what he's doing offensively at times. But he can shoot it, and he can guard, as you saw against Carolina. He's guarding Wilson one-on-one. He's a strong kid. So he brings a lot to our team, not just, shooting the basketball.
Caden's been held to 6 points the last 2 games with this one. Did you make anything of that? Was it the other teams doing something against Caden?
No, Caden is a blue-collar guy. He's not going to be a guy that gets 20 points and 10 rebounds every day. He's not a guy that's that's playing above the rim. He's not like he's an overly skilled guy. He's a basketball player, and he does other things. He's just not. If you watch him play, it's not like you look at him. It's like, ooh, what a great athlete, or what a great jump shot. He's going to do what he needs to do for us to be successful. That one play there, he ran in and got a charge on the moving screen. Those are, he's a smart player, and he's a guy that you would love on your team. He's not going to get 20 and 10 every night. He's going to be a guy that gets hopefully 10 and 6 and plays great defense.
And just lastly for me, DeSante did finish with 10 points. A lot of them came from the free throw line at the end. Ilya came in, and talk about a guy who's had a good tournament. He came in off the bench, got a couple steals, rebounds, baskets. What have you made of him?
Yeah, I thought both him and Achille and Amari, when they came in, they changed the game a little bit. And they made some plays. I thought that was a positive. We had a bunch of young guys in there, and they responded. So even though they didn't play a ton, when they were in there, they were productive, and not just from an offensive standpoint, but they did a good job on the defensive end, and as you alluded to with a steal for Ilya. But I thought those guys, and they're gaining more experience. They haven't played American basketball. They weren't here for the summertime, so they're still trying to learn what is expected. But today and against Carolina, that those games helped those kids.
Anything else for Coach?
All right. Happy Thanksgiving, guys.
Happy